quiet, misty morning settles over an ancient village, where the air feels heavy with unspoken secrets and a lingering sense of melancholy during the dawn hours. The camera glides slowly over dew-kissed leaves on a narrow trail leading into a peaceful, yet somber-looking traditional countryside settlement, revealing the beauty of the morning. A merchant walks slowly across a barren, dry field, his lonely silhouette casting a long shadow under the pale morning sun's rays as he travels alone. The merchant's eyes narrow with calculation and hidden intent as he gazes toward the horizon, thinking of his next profitable venture while ignoring the world's beauty. Have you ever done something wrong and hoped that no one would find out? Sometimes, secrets weigh much heavier than gold in our weary and tired hearts. His solitary figure disappears into the mist, a man driven by gain rather than grace, unaware of the profound transformation that awaits his weary and lonely soul. He follows a path worn by time, searching for something more, though he knows not yet that true wealth lies within the spirit's kindness and selfless love. We often think that prosperity is about what we hold, but in truth, the greatest riches are found in what we choose to give away to others. A recent landslide has uncovered a hidden crevice by the road, where the earth has split to reveal something long forgotten by the ancient and mysterious world. The merchant clears away the thick mud with his bare hands, his curiosity piqued by the sight of a wooden corner peeking through the dark, damp soil. A beautifully carved wooden chest emerges from the dirt, its intricate patterns reflecting a craftsmanship that belongs to a bygone and mystical era of ancient artistic history. As he slowly lifts the heavy lid, a soft, golden radiance spills out, illuminating his surprised face with a warm and magical glow of hidden ancient treasure. Inside the chest lie countless seeds that sparkle like diamonds, pulsing with a gentle light that seems to breathe with a life of its own and magic. His eyes widen with greed as he realizes the value of these glowing seeds, his mind already racing with thoughts of his own personal and immense gain. He hurriedly slams the lid shut, glancing around nervously to ensure no one else has witnessed his miraculous and glowing discovery in the deep and dark woods. He clutches the heavy wooden box tightly to his chest, his knuckles white, as he prepares to flee with his newfound and secret treasure into the night. The merchant runs toward his home, his breath coming in short gasps as he navigates the rocky path, driven by the frantic and dark energy of selfishness. He enters his quiet house and bolts the door, the shadows of his room dancing as he holds the source of light closer to his greedy heart. He found a treasure, but instead of sharing it, greed took hold of him. He believed this sacred light belonged to him, and him alone, forever. He descends into a dark and damp cellar beneath his floorboards, where the air is stale, and the only company is the cold and lonely stone walls. Sitting alone in the pitch blackness, the merchant stares at the chest, his aging face lit only by the faint shimmering glow of the mysterious diamond seeds. Outside in the village, the land is suffering. The fields are parched, the crops are failing, and the villagers' faces are etched with deep hunger and pain. The village well has run dry, and people gather with empty buckets, their hope fading as the sun beats down on the thirsty and cracked earth today. Even as the distant cries of the hungry reach his ears, the merchant remains unmoved, focused only on the glowing seeds in his hidden and private sanctuary. Selfishness creates a silent prison of our own making. He thinks he is safe, but he is trapped by his own refusal to help those in need. He runs his fingers through the glowing seeds, mesmerized by their beauty, while the world outside grows colder and more desperate for a single saving miracle. He tries to plant a few in a small pot in the cellar, but they remain dormant, refusing to grow in the stale and dark underground air. The tighter he clutched the light, the darker his own heart became. He failed to see that light cannot thrive when it is kept hidden away. Shadows stretch across the room like skeletal fingers as the merchant sits in his self-imposed isolation, guarded by a treasure that brings no real warmth at all. He did not know that these seeds of light cannot sprout in the dark. They require the sun of compassion and the soil of shared common humanity. Months pass, and the cellar becomes thick with dust and cobwebs, reflecting the decay of the merchant's spirit as he waits for a fortune that never comes. With trembling hands, he opens the chest once more to check his prize. But his heart sinks as he notices the glow has faded away completely. The once brilliant seeds are now dull and gray, their magical pulse slowing down until they look like nothing more than ordinary, dead and cold stones. When his finger touches a seed, it instantly crumbles into a fine gray dust, slipping through his grasp like the wasted and selfish years of his life. Horror fills his eyes as he realizes his treasure is vanishing. The light he tried so hard to hoard is simply dissolving into nothingness before his eyes. One by one, the seeds turn to ash, filling the chest with the remnants of his greed, leaving him with nothing but a pile of dirt. He stares at the empty space where his fortune once sat, the silence of the cellar echoing the emptiness that has finally consumed his entire world today. Loneliness wraps around him like a cold shroud as the last flicker of light dies out, leaving him in total, suffocating darkness and bitter, deep regret. The law of karma is always present. What you hold back out of selfishness will eventually turn to dust, leaving your hands empty and your soul bare. The merchant falls to his knees, weeping for the first time, realizing that his pursuit of wealth has left him more impoverished than the poorest local beggar. The mournful sound of a violin seems to echo through the dark house, matching the deep pain of a man who has lost everything he once valued. The merchant finally emerges from his dark cellar, shielding his eyes from the bright morning sun as he steps out into the village square at last. In his hand, he holds a single, tiny seed that still retains a faint, flickering spark of light, the very last hope of his wasted treasure. He looks at the tired faces of his neighbors, seeing their struggle for the first time with eyes that are no longer blinded by his own greed. With a heavy heart, but a new purpose, he walks to the barren center of the village, where the earth is most cracked and very dry. He kneels on the hard ground, his old joints aching, and begins to dig a small hole with his bare, soil-stained hands for the final seed. A small, curious child walks up to him, holding a cracked wooden bowl with a few drops of precious water, offering it kindly to the old man. Together, the old merchant and the young child place the seed in the earth and pour the tiny bit of water over the thirsty, dry ground. In an instant, a bright green shoot bursts through the surface, glowing with a radiant intensity that far surpasses the original light of the hoarding seeds. The light spreads from the new plant like a wave of liquid gold, flowing across the dry earth and awakening the dormant life hidden beneath it. Dead trees begin to bud, and flowers bloom in seconds, as the village is transformed into a lush, vibrant garden of life and color once more. Forgiveness and sharing are the waters that nourish the soul. When you give light to the world, you receive a universe of radiance in return. A wide flycam shot reveals the entire village, now a thriving paradise of green fields and flowing water, pulsing with new and vibrant life and hope. The people of the village work together in the fields, their laughter filling the air as they harvest the bounty that grew from one selfless act. The merchant is seen laughing with his neighbors, his face no longer pale and calculating, but bright with the joy of true and deep human connection. Key words appear on the screen: karma, forgiveness, and prosperity. They serve as a reminder that our actions define the world we live in every day. The merchant sits peacefully under a massive, glowing tree that grew from the single seed, looking out over the happy community he helped to save. The screen fades softly as the final message appears in elegant script. True wealth is kindness. It is a treasure that never fades or turns to dust. True prosperity is not about what we hoard, but the kindness we plant in others. Start sowing your seeds of light today and watch your world bloom. The image fades to black, leaving the viewer with a sense of peace and the lingering warmth of a story that teaches us how to truly live.